Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a full hard gel set or builder gel, and I'm also doing a French tip on her and cute little 3D flowers for spring on her pinky. So first I'm going in with my natural nail file and just shaping up her nails. I just did a soak off, which is why her nails look like this, and she has a little bit of product left on there. But before I do them, I'm just shaping them up and getting them back to her tapered square look. We always do her natural nails, but her pinkies are a little short, so she always does like a little stiletto pinky, which is what we're going to do. But just make sure when you're using a natural nail file that you're using a higher grit. Make sure you're not using an acrylic or an enhancement file on natural nails because it'll just tear them up. So just make sure that your grit is about like a 240 or higher. And I just do this. I do get a little bit of the product off with the file too. I just kind of will go over it a little bit just to kind of remove a little bit. Honestly, the product that's on her nails right now is just the gel base coat that I usually use. But we just soaked off acrylic. Yes, I use a gel base coat when I do acrylic, but I don't do acrylic anymore. And also, guys, if I'm talking weird, it's because my cheek is so swollen right now. I keep biting it because of my stupid wisdom teeth that I never got taken out. So if you hear me talking kind of funny, it's because I'm trying to keep from biting my cheek. But anyway, now I'm going in with my sanding band, and I am just trying to remove basically as much of the product as I can without overfiling her nail. I know it looks like I am scrubbing her nail really, really hard, but I promise you I'm not. I am using a little bit more pressure than I would if there was no product on her nail, but I'm only doing that in the spots that I see product. This is something that you will kind of learn over time. I know it's kind of hard to tell product between natural nail, but you'll be able to feel it. Just understand, practice does, I wouldn't say practice makes perfect, but you learn from practice over time of just feeling things and seeing things and just repetition. So I'm just taking this on her free edge, making sure I'm not overfiling on her free edge. Just so that her nails are nice and thick, because she does have pretty thick, nice curved nails. Her nails are really, really pretty and really healthy. And just making sure I'm getting in her cuticle really well to get out all of that excess dryness and skin, especially from the acetone. It kind of dries your nails out a little bit. And just make sure that I remove anything that's sticking up, anything that might get in the way of prep. And yeah, so we're just doing that. Remember, when you're using a sanding band, do about 4 to 5, anywhere from 4 to 8 RPMs. Just make sure that you're not using a super high speed. If you're a beginner, I definitely wouldn't get up past 5, in my opinion. I would stay around that just to ensure that you're not burning them or removing too much of the surface of the natural nail, because you do not want to do that. So now I'm taking my little cuticle bit, and this is probably one of my favorite parts about prep, is just taking this cuticle bit and removing any more dead skin that is along the nail plate, and just making sure that it's nice and clean, because your prep is so important for retention with any enhancement. It doesn't matter. I prep my nails the exact same way for any enhancement, whether it's acrylic, Gel X, hard gel. The prep is the exact same. So just make sure that you are getting your prep down and repeating it on any type of service that you do, because this is what is going to keep your retention and make your nails last and just have a beautiful base for it to be on. So just make sure that you're doing that. Cuticle bit is not always necessary. I will say I don't do it with every single client. But now I'm just dusting her nails off and using 90% alcohol with my manicure brush and scrubbing all the dust out. Notice how I'm scrubbing down. You want to make sure you're getting it out. Look at her nails. They're so pretty. But yeah, just make sure that you're scrubbing the manicure brush downwards to get the dust out. Now I am adding a tip onto her pinkies just so that we can do her stiletto shape, just making sure that the same length. I always trim the edges a little bit when I'm doing stiletto or almond, just so that I don't have to file as much. And I'm just going in and filing into her shape. We're growing her little pinky nail out because it used to be her natural nail, but it got shortened. Now I'm going with a base coat on the pinky nail with the tip, I'm covering the entire thing with base coat with hard gel. You want to make sure you're covering the whole nail in base coat, not just the nail plate if you're adding tips. So I'm glad that I got to show kind of both in this. Then I'm just adding base coat to the rest of the nails, making sure they're fully covered, it's scrubbed in, it's on the surface where I want the gel to go. So just make sure that you do coat that pretty well. And now I'm about to go in with this freaking hard gel. Okay, the pinky, I guess I'm still getting used to like doing a different shape because I have been used to just doing like square and coffin and stuff, which is a little bit easier. So this pinky was tiny and stiletto shape, so it was kind of hard for me to get it right. But anyway, I'm going with a slip layer. Do not cure that. And then you're just going to take a larger bead of your gel and you're going to place that on the bottom of the nail where the cuticle is, and you're just going to kind of float it and go in small little circles. You are not pressing hard on the gel. Remember, light touch, light feathery movements from side to side, making sure that the gel is connecting on each side as you're bringing the gel around. And you can kind of pull it down a little bit as you're going down the nail, but on this one I didn't put enough, so I do have to kind of disconnect the gel from the brush. You'll see how I do that. I just kind of like move it in a circle to disconnect the brush from the gel, and then I'm going in with a little bit more gel and I'm reconnecting it back to where I left off, and I'm just pulling that gel downwards, making sure that the middle has enough gel and that there is a nice even layer. This does not have to be perfect, you guys, and you will see why later, but gel files so easily, so your application does not have to be perfect, okay? That is going to come over time. That is going to come with skill. That is going to come with repetition, because doing hard gel is still a newer thing for me. I did it in school, but I just started adding it as a service along with doing Gel X. So this is definitely something that takes a learning curve and repetition. It's so different than doing acrylic. It is so different because with acrylic, it's a whole different ball game. But gel, yeah, just make sure that your hands are steady. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on this nail, just again adding my slip layer. You're not going to cure that. But basically what I'm doing is I'm doing one hand, I'm doing both hands at the same time. I'm doing one nail on one hand, having her put it in the light, and then I'm starting on the other one. So you're in constant motion when you're doing this. But you see on this one, I did a lot better. The whole nail was a lot easier than, for some reason, that little small pinky nail. But anyway, yeah, I took just a large bead of the gel and I'm just doing the same exact thing, bringing it down from side to side, making sure that I'm covering the entire nail. It can be thick because, like I said, gel files super easily. It's so soft, so it just files down so much easier than acrylic. Like, you do not have to apply much pressure. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, you're just going to repeat that process again. And I really just want to take this time. I hate to be a sap, but I just want to say thank you so much for this little small community that I'm building on YouTube. And I just really want to say, like, if you're out there and you're struggling with starting something, or you're just in your head too much and you're just in your way, just please allow yourself to just do what you want to do, because now I have to tell myself all the time, it's now or never. Like, I really had to go back to my why because I was struggling. I was really struggling, and to just keep going with nails, which is why I decided to just change things up and switch my services around and start taking new clients again and starting a YouTube channel. And it has honestly been such a fresh start and such a good feeling to just get back into this again, because it is something that I love. But sometimes it's really hard whenever you make your passion your job, because you do get burnt out and you really do need to make time for yourself. And I just want to let you guys know that you're not alone, because we all have these struggles and we go through these hard times. But as long as you're getting out of them, that's what matters, because we're all going to have low times. We're all going to have low moments in life. It's a part of life, the good and the bad, the ugly, the amazing. We're all a part of everything. So I just want to be a little bit of encouragement to just say, just go for your dreams and take time to learn about it. Take time for rest whenever it is your passion, whenever you are going full throttle. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself, because that's something that I've had to do and had to learn, and be patient with myself and stop forcing this crazy life on myself all the time. So just take a breath. If you want to chill, just come watch my video or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a safe space here. But anyway, now that I'm done with that and everything is fully cured, I just go in and wipe the sticky layer off with a little bit of alcohol, and I'm using a paper towel. Don't come at me. I don't have lint-free wipes, okay? I just don't feel like there's a necessity in buying them and paper towels. I already buy paper towels enough, so that's what I'm using. And now I'm going in with my 100 grit file, and we are just going to shape these back and bring them back to life. I already did her little pinky nail, just shaped that really quick, and now I'm going in and perfecting her shape back to her tapered square. I'm not filing too much just because like I said, it just doesn't take that much effort when it comes to filing gel, which I love, because I swear I've just have wrist issues and everything from working with acrylic. So this has been such a lifesaver and such a game changer for me, and I love it. So yeah, you don't have to use a whole lot of pressure when you're doing this, and you don't want to overfile because you don't want to like bring the sidewalls in too much. You don't want to make the shape completely different. And you see there is a lot of product on her nails. I did put a good bit of gel on there, but when I go in with my e-file, it's just gonna like perfect everything. So I'm using a fine safety bit. I get this from my nail supply store. If you guys ever want to like shop the nail supply store I go to, you can. It's Trans Nail Supply. I'll link it below, but I get a lot of my products from there and Amazon. What I can't get from Amazon, I get from there, because sometimes stuff is just cheaper at the nail supply store than it is Amazon, and vice versa. But yeah, this is a fine safety bit, and this is what I always use to finish file any enhancements besides Gel X, obviously. And now I'm just taking it onto the other nails. I always start around the cuticle and just make sure that that's really flush, and make sure I'm going on my sides. And I know it looks like I am going back and forth on the nail, but I'm actually only moving the file. I'm only touching the nail when I'm moving the file to the left, because I'm right-handed, so I work from right to left. So just make sure that you're not holding the file on the nail and going back and forth, because you're going to end up spinning the file around the nail or something crazy. So just make sure you're make sure that you're lifting the file as you're going back to the right. So touching it to the left if you're right-handed, don't touch it back to the right, if that makes sense, and then it'll be the other way around if you're left-handed. I really hope you understood that. I think I tried to explain it the best that I possibly could. But like I said, this gel files so easily. I can't even say this enough, but I don't even think I told y'all what gel I use. So I'm using the Savvyland hard gel in light pink. So the thing with this gel is that I had to learn is that it only cures in a UV light, or a LED/UV light. My Kiara Sky lamp is a LED light. So I was trying to cure it in that, and it would not cure for nothing, okay? So it just clicked to me, maybe it is only UV. So luckily I had a backup Amazon light that I ended up using to cure it, and lo and behold, it worked. A $20 lamp worked over a $200 lamp. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you do buy their gels. Some are UV LED, but these specifically are only UV. Okay, now I'm going in with a base coat because I'm about to do her design. I do her pinkies last, so I'm not putting any base coat on the pinkies since I'm going to be using acrylic to do the 3D flowers. So for the ones that I'm doing the French tip on, I'm just adding a thin base coat just so that we have a sticky layer to work over. It's just a lot smoother and easier in my opinion, especially when working with gel. So now I'm just taking my liner brush. This is, I swear y'all, I use this brush for everything. I have so many art brushes, but this is the one, this is the one that I always reach for. It came in a Beetles, like a pack of different brushes from Beetles. I do use a lot of those actually. So they are linked in my Amazon storefront under nail art supplies, and they're the Beetles pack, and they're like all little pastel colors. But I love these brushes. This one is amazing. I use it literally every day. Anytime I do nail art or French tip, I use this brush. It's a little dirty. She gets used a lot. So yeah, I really recommend this liner brush. It has never failed me. How I keep it clean and how I store it. So anytime I'm done with it, I always wipe it off on a paper towel, and then I actually use 90% alcohol to clean it, and I just make sure that it's really clean, and I stick it in my drawer. And then when I take it out, it's usually hard and it's stiff, so I put it back in the alcohol to soften up the bristles, and then I go in with my gel. I recommend using alcohol to clean your brushes over acetone, because sometimes acetone can really break down brushes and cause like fraying of the bristles and everything. So I recommend using alcohol over acetone, unless it's an acrylic brush. Then if you've got acrylic gunked up in your brush, then obviously you need to use acetone to soak that, because alcohol is not going to get out acrylic. It just doesn't work that way. So now I'm going in with my teeny tiny little 3D art brush, and I'm picking up the smallest little bead of acrylic. Y'all, this is so tiny, but it's so cute. I love acrylic flowers. I'm kind of creating like a daisy-like thing. So you just take that bead, you make sure you want to let it kind of like harden up a little bit, make sure that it's stiff. You don't want this running everywhere. You want a dry bead, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. I forgot to put acetone in my monomer when I did this first bead, so it took me a little longer to do this petal because it was really, really wet. But I'm basically just making a little cut in the bottom of the flower whenever you place it down after it gets stiff, and you're just going to bring in the little corners just to kind of create a V-like shape so that it goes in and it's not kind of everywhere, and just make sure that the top is round. See, now I'm adding my acetone because I remembered, oh, this is not working fast enough. I need acetone in my acrylic. So now I'm going back in and getting a tiny little bead, and I'm placing it on the nail. I'm going to move my brush away, kind of let it set up for a second. When you put acetone, it sets up really, really quick. And now I'm just taking the side of my brush, and I am making that little slice, not all the way through it, just at the tail end of the dot. So you're just going to kind of make a teardrop shape, but just the bottoms are not going to be closed. So you're going to have that little V cut, that little opening gap at the bottom of the petal, and you're just going to bring it in. You're basically going to create a star. Okay, that's the best way I can explain it. You're going to do 5 little petals, and the little V cuts that you're making in the center are going to create a star shape. And you'll kind of see this come together as I do it. But I'm just repeating that again. So taking my little acrylic bead, placing it on the nail, starting to create my little thing. You can take the body of the brush to flatten the petal out, not the tip of the brush, the body of the brush, where the bristles are a little more stiff. You can take that part to kind of flatten out the petal, to stretch it out. If maybe the bead is too small, you can do that, or if the acrylic is sticking up too high, you can kind of flatten it out just so that it's not super, it's not sticking out too much. And then we're going to go in with another one. This is the third one. I end up doing another little flower at the end, which you'll see. I didn't really show y'all again me doing the whole entire thing, but it's kind of like a little half flower at the bottom. It's really, really cute. But yeah, you kind of see now what I'm talking about, how you're creating a star in the center. And you make sure that you want to leave the center kind of open, because we are going to create a little dot. And if you want to, I really like using the little caviar beads or tiny little rhinestones to go in the middle. That's always really cute, but she specifically wanted just like a little pink dot in the middle, which we end up doing. But yeah, the star is being created. Our last little petal, we're just going in and doing the little lines again. I'm sorry, I keep trying to explain this to you guys, but I'm pretty sure you get it by now. But this is definitely something that you just have to do and practice, and you'll understand, you'll get it. But just make sure that your beads are really, really dry, because if not, your acrylic's gonna be running everywhere and you're gonna have to wipe it off. But look at it. Look how cute it is. And see, I did another one at the bottom. Now we're just adding her little pink dots to go in it. It's so subtle and so cute. It's not very vibrant, but I kind of liked it because it blends in with the pink really nicely. So now I'm going in with my non-wipe top coats, and we are just doing a good nice layer of that on all the nails, making sure it's not too thick, just so that it's not thickening up the nail at all. Curing that, and I'm just going in with my finish file just to perfect the shape, make sure there's no bulkiness from the gel polish. Dusting her off, and now we're going to add her cuticle oil just to shine her up and make her and rehydrate her skin because of any alcohol or acetone that we used. And I just always rub that in for them, make sure that there's no more dryness on their skin and around their cuticles, just so they look really pretty, you know. We want to be hydrated and pretty after we get our nails done. So this is the final look. I think they came out so cute, and this color suits her so well. I love it. And this is an up close of my little 3D flowers. I love them. I thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.